Welcome to Gathering Momentum for Your Life. I'm Christine Casten, and today we are going to be talking about peace. In this world, we know that we will not have peace because there's too much junk that goes on all the time. And this was actually prompted. My friend Lucinda Nelson from Listen, Love, Pray Foundation sent out just a blast this morning, and on it she had this song that was just fantastic. It was called "Find My Peace" by Naomi Rain, I believe, and it is just this phenomenal song of stepping into the peace of God. And I just wanted to encourage you today because this world is chaotic. There's a lot of unknown, but in Jesus we can find peace and we can step into it. Now, there are things that happen in my day that throw me out of peace. Sometimes they will come at me like a flood, and I react to that thing instead of just responding out of God's heart. That's a learning curve that we're all on. There are other times when I am unshakable, and the things that the Lord has put in me and has deposited in me are things that allow me to stay as like that calm in the center of the storm. And so it is a journey. There are times when you're going to go through life and things are going to hit you hard, and you're just going to feel hurt and devastated. And then there's that healing process where we go through and we connect back to that peace of God. And the reality is when we keep our eyes focused on Jesus, we can realign back with that. And there are times in our lives as we go through, especially as we go through the process of growth, that Jesus will pour into us, and he'll start bringing us into a new place of maturity. And in that process, we will go through a time of what I call wonky. This is a term that we use in the Warrior Commission of I'm in that transition time between what was to what will be. And in that wonky time, there are a lot of things that are coming forward. Typically, there are things coming forward that have to do with maybe wounds, maybe perspectives or mindsets, and not all of it's a bad thing. Sometimes God's taking us from good to better, and He's taking us from what we understood in part and in more limitation into something more expanded, so that we recognize the limitless possibilities of God in our limited thinking, right? And so there is a process of our growth, of expansion, of stepping into something that is good and right and true and peace filled. Peace is one of the fruits of the Spirit, and so as God teaches us more about his peace and what he carries and is giving to us, then the capacity to receive that fruit and to live that fruit out is so much more expanded in our lives. There are times when we can walk into a room, and I think of like Peter's shadow. Have you ever really thought about Peter's shadow in your life? I mean, it's a great story in the Bible, but to me, what it represents is, and in the Bible story, it's talking about where Peter's shadow fell as he walked. Those people got healed. So, in other words, basically, just their proximity to him, because of what God put in him to carry, especially in the area of healing, people would get healed just as he walked by. And I've always been fascinated with that story. And I've always wondered, okay, God, what is it to walk in a capacity of having been able to receive something from the Lord, from him, that would allow the overflow to impact and affect other people's lives, just by walking in a room, just by being present in the moment, just by being in that space with those people, or brushing by them, if you will, as you walk past in the subway. I don't know about you guys. I'm not in the subway all the time, but every so often as I'm walking through the subway, I'll just start praying and asking the Lord to bless every person that I walk by, that He would just impart something to them that would be peaceful, and would that it would be recognized as something different in them, that's happened, and of course, draw them to Him, draw them to His heart, draw them, reconnect that there's something beautiful about Jesus, and there's something amazing and powerful about our God. And I think that as we learn to walk in the fruit of the Spirit, one of the things that we do in our performance mindsets is we try to have it. Like, I'm gonna be joyful today. I'm gonna make sure, like we like pull ourselves up by our bootstraps and assert our will into it, and all of a sudden that fruit of the Spirit will be there. Well, unfortunately, that is not how it works, because if it worked that way, we would be a lot more successful, at least temporarily. But the reality is that our will does not impart the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is imparted through us because we've received. And part of our journey is learning to be a better receiver from the Lord, to be able to open up our hearts, our spirits, our souls, our mind, will, and emotions, all of those things that are part of who we are, to submit them to the Lord, so that we can receive from Him in a way that we haven't received yet, and have that space, that capacity with Him, that we're able to grow in and to develop. So, we've got Peter's shadow that we've talked about with the overflow. We've got the idea of what it is to be fully submitted to Jesus, and really the desire of our heart. And this is the third thing: the desire of our heart to bless, the desire of our heart to impart. Um, what we don't realize is we will impart where we are and what we carry. So if we're stirred up and we're in a negative place, that will also be imparted. And part of our learning curve, and part of our submission to the Lord, and part of keeping our eyes focused with Him as our first love, allows us to shift out of that negativity into what it is to carry those fruit of the Spirit. There's a time in my life when I remember being at someone's house, and we were, it was a party. We were having a good time and just enjoying fellowship and connecting with each other. And someone came in, and they came in late, and they completely changed the atmosphere. They were stirred up, they were angry. They were obviously running late, so there was that tension. But literally, like, I felt the whole atmosphere in the house shift. And all of a sudden, everyone was like, "Ooh, we've got to walk on eggshells. We've got to be careful, because this person is obviously upset and explosive, and we want to be careful not to trigger something, in this place." And yes, that person was able to shift and calm down, and just with a few words of encouragement, that helped. But in that place, what I was seeing was the paradox, right? I was seeing the difference between what it was when peace was fully infused in that atmosphere, versus what the negativity was able to do to change it. Now, I've seen the opposite happen. I've seen a situation that was completely negative and chaotic, and a person walked in with love and kindness and compassion and peace, and everything shifted. And so the atmosphere we carry, God created us and commanded us to go to the ends of the earth and subdue it, right? So we have a mandate by God to have authority over the area where we are, and that authority is always present, right? Because that's what He's given us. That's the command He's given us. But how we actually carry that authority out is dependent on our connection to him and the fruit of the spirit that we're able to carry, and specifically the peace that we're able to walk in. My peace I give you, and those are the things that really we can carry in anywhere, no matter rich or poor, no matter what is happening in our lives. There is an opportunity for us to carry that peace. So my encouragement to you today is to keep your eyes focused on Jesus. Keep your heart focused on him. And if something happens that throws you out of that space, then the way you step back into it is just to resubmit and to ask the Lord to reveal to you what it was that caused you to move out of that place of peace, and take the time to work through that stuff with him, and with others. There are others out there who can help you with that as well, and that's the body coming alongside the body and walking together. So there are a lot of places that you can do that, including the one I mentioned at the beginning, the one with Lucinda Nelson. So you guys have a great day. I just so encourage you in your day today, and just ask the Lord to pray blessings over you, to intercede for you, and to pour his fruit of the spirit into you as your capacity continues to increase to receive that from him. Y'all have a great day.